Guys and girls doing today, Temption918 here, and in this video we are talking about your journey to success and why. God damn it. What is going on, y'all? What is going on? I just want to let y'all know that I appreciate and love every single one of y'all at the top of my video. Y'all just aren't subscribers if you're our family, and I appreciate and I love every single last one of y'all. And if you are new to my channel, just make sure to subscribe and like. Also check out the social media because we lit, baby. Ooh. So y'all, just wanted to talk to y'all real quick about success and what it means to be successful and how you know you're on the path to success. And I feel like one of the very first things that you notice when you're trying to become successful is a simple fact that people don't like you. People just, God damn it, people just generally don't like you, y'all. They just don't like the fact that you're doing something different. And that's why, because you're doing something different. You're stepping out of the norm. You're doing something that a whole bunch of people don't consider normal. Like, what's considered normal nowadays is that you go to school, because our current education system is still fucked, but that's a different conversation for a different video. But you know, the standard thing is you go to school, you go to college, you get a degree, and you graduate only a couple of K in debt. That's what they try to say, only a couple K in debt, or only in debt just a little teensy weensy bit, disregard interest, right? And then you go into a certain job, you know, a certain field, and you hope for the best, and you get that job, and you pay back all your debt slowly and surely, and you know, maybe get an apartment or a house or a car and start making payments, raise a family. And ever so often you will get you know, though you will get those many raises if you're lucky. If you kiss up to your boss, and you know, you kiss up to his or her asshole enough times, maybe, god damn it, maybe, just maybe, you'll get a vacation every couple years, you know, and then you retire at the age of 70 or something like that with, you know, you get your very first sports car and you just retire comfortably. And that is an absolute waste of a life, if you ask me, and that sounds absolutely horrible. But that's the very first thing in how you know that people are, that you're doing something different, that you're unique, is because everybody is telling you to stop doing it. Everyone is telling you that what you're doing is horrible and what you're doing is weird and it's so unsafe, and it'd be much safer and easier for you to go get that 9-to-5. And y'all, you know, the main focus of this video was to talk about, isn't it funny how no one ever asks you the questions that actually matter? God damn it, which is, you know, how you doing emotionally, how you doing mentally, how you doing spiritually. No one ever asks these questions. They only ever care if you're working that 9-to-5. Have you ever noticed that with your family, with your friends? If you're trying to pursue something and you're doing something outside the norm, everybody, you know, I'm not gonna say your family hates you, but they look at you weird, they look at you different. Like they say, you know, oh, what are you doing? You know, you're doing something so unsafe. But whenever you get that 9-to-5, everyone just shuts the fuck up. Like, everyone just shuts up. Like, out of nowhere, no one's saying nothing, because you're doing something normal. So since you're back in that normal cycle, as that's what people want to call it, everyone just assumes you're fine. Oh, he's got a job. Oh yeah, you know, oh, he's fine. You know, he's a man now. I don't know what he was doing before, when he was trying to, you know, create a lifestyle of his own and work for himself and make, you know, way more money than any 9-to-5 can offer. But he's a man now. He got a job and he's okay. He's okay, you know, he's doing fine now. At the moment you lose that job, or if you don't have one and you're working on something different or trying to create your own vision, that's when people say, oh, you're just so weird and you're doing things wrong. And you know, my dad told me this when I was young. I'm not going to edit these hiccups either. I'm just going to let it soak in. But my dad told me this when I was younger, and it still resonates with me to this day. He was like, even if anybody, everyone on this planet, your family, your mom, grandparents, aunts, uncles, cousins, nieces, nephews, you name it. He was like, even if I, you know, which is something crazy because I didn't think my dad would go above himself to say something like this. But he was like, even if I try to tell you that what you're doing in life is different, or you shouldn't be doing this, it is 110% up to you at the end of the day, because you're the one that has to wake up in the mirror and look at yourself and be happy or sad, and you're in control of that and no one else. And I was like, now, like, and you know, when he said that when I was younger, you know, of course I paid attention, but not as much as I do now. And y'all, that's so true. I'm just gonna be straight up blunt and honest with you and just tell you the straight up truth and say that if people don't like what you're doing, fuck them. And even if your family, and this might sound harsh, but even if your family or your friends tell you that what you're doing is wrong, and if you know in your heart what you're doing is right, fuck them. Like, I'm not, of course I'm not saying fuck my family or nothing like that, or nothing crazy like, oh, they can all go die, nothing dumb like that. But like, honestly, straight up, I'm not going to listen to someone who does not know what they're talking about, you know? And the best analogy that I can use for this situation is, you know, if you're trying to do something different, something that's never been done in your family before, something that's just out of the norm, why are you going to ask somebody that does not know what they're talking about, or they haven't experienced it, what to do, you know? And I had to notice and I had to realize that. And the one thing that you cannot do, and it's sad, but it's true, and there's one thing that you cannot do, is that you cannot change the previous generation's mindset. You cannot convince someone of the previous generation, if they're not willing to change, and most of them aren't, that what you're doing makes sense and it'll all work out in the end. You just can't convince them that, because they were raised on this whole 9-to-5 ideology. So when my family or my friends just say things like, or people that I know just say things like, oh, you're crazy and this is so unsafe and it's so uncertain and you don't know what you're doing and you might fail and everything and it's way safer to, like, I just shake my head and just agree with them just to get them out of my face. Like, I know, and you know, you have to have that level of certainty if you want to become successful. Like, you have to look at things and you have to know. You have to know that you know what you're doing. And I'm not gonna lie to y'all, just on like a side note, like, are they correct and are they right when they say that it's unsafe? Absolutely. Like, when you're doing something that's completely different from the norm, there's a reason why a lot of people give up on it. It's because it's unsafe and it's weird, and you know, you wake up every day unsure of you know what you're gonna do. Like, I've got multiple things that I'm working on right now, and you know, even though I need to start uploading more YouTube videos and stuff like that, but there are multiple things that, you know, that I'm doing, and it's like, yeah, you definitely do wake up every single day and you're uncertain of what's going to happen. And absolutely, it'd be much easier in terms of, I guess, stress wise, if you could say, for short term, for me to get that 9-to-5 and just work that instead of, you know, putting stress on myself to go and do beyond something. But would I trade what I'm doing now for anything else in the world? Absolutely not. I'd rather die for what I'm doing right now than spend any second at a 9-to-5. Now, of course, you have to be realistic, and you know, at the time being, if you're in my situation, you have to, you know, you move out or something, you have to get something to pay bills, but you know, you never stop working on what you want to do. But I went off on a little tangent. But yeah, y'all, like I said, you know, it sounds blunt, it sounds wrong, but here's the thing, y'all. People in your family and your friends, right? People who, you know, are in your family or your close friends and stuff like that, they don't mean to, because they have the best intention for you, but they actually sabotage, like they actually destroy you, and they don't mean to. What I mean by that is, like, you know, you wouldn't go up to someone who's homeless, right, and ask them how to make $1 million, because they're going to tell you one of two things. One, it cannot be done. It's stupid, it's dumb, it's simple. I tried to work on a business and it failed. Obviously, it's because they're going off of their perspective. Or they're going to say, number two, they're just going to give you a whole bunch of wrong advice, and if you follow that advice, you're just going to end up just like them. You know what I'm saying? And it's the same thing with, you know, family and friends. Like, they're trying to give you advice and trying to tell you things to do and how to stay safe and everything like that. It's not like they're trying to hurt you intentionally. But if you're trying to do something different than what everyone else in your family has done, you can't ask any of them because they're not going to know. Like if I were to go up to, you know, any of my aunts, any of my uncles and stuff like that, and I asked them, how can I create this business and do this certain thing right here? They'd probably say something along the lines of, oh, you know, just go back to school, just stay in school, just get a government job, you know, just, or you know, they just wouldn't know what to do, plain and simple. So it's like, you stop asking them, stop going to people, you know, and that might hurt to some people. Because, you know, your family and your friends are the ones that are the closest to you, but you got to start asking people who actually know this information. You know, ask these people who have failed in multiple businesses and then succeeded in multiple, and start getting your information from people online. Like that sounds crazy, right? Like, I know that sounds crazy. Like, I'd rather trust my own family than random people online, but no, it really doesn't make sense to trust someone who does not know what they're doing versus someone who knows what they're doing, you know? So, and absolutely, y'all, it's definitely, you know, it's scary, and, you know, it's uncertain, and, you know, you don't know if it's going to work or not, and, you know, you wake up every day with questions in your head and stuff. But I would not trade any of that stress for a split second for the comfortability of working at a government job, making, you know, someone else rich. It absolutely makes no sense. Actually, I saw this thing, and I'm gonna get it for you right now. It's like the story of this this cave, well, not this cave. It was like some kind of cave, and I sent it to my mom earlier, and she even said that it was a great analogy. And it was this guy named Geneso, I butchered his name, but Ferreira da Silva. He had actually discovered a Brazilian farm that had a whole bunch of gold under it. I'm not gonna say the whole entire story, but, you know, long story short, this is when the gold rush was born. And Brazil's El Dorado was Sarah Paletta or something. I just butchered that shit. But pretty much what it was that this guy had actually just took the gold that he found on his land and ran. And people found out that there was gold mines. There was pretty much a huge ass gold mine under this dude's land. So people from all across the world came to try to get a piece of their gold, and people started building ladders and everything, and it wasn't sanctioned by the government. So, you know, a whole bunch, like millions of people were down there at once trying to find their gold. And, you know, long story short, y'all, like the story talks about how eventually it became like a modern day hellhole, like how our 9-to-5s are. And it talks about how, you know, only a fraction of a percentage of people that went down into this place were able to even get a small piece of gold. And they weren't even guaranteed to climb back up the thousands of feet that they, you know, had to go down and descend to get right back up to take that, you know, to their family and try to make a profit off of it. And it has photos of, you know, all these people crawling down into this pit and trying to work, and literally they would toll until death. Like, there were people who died in this pit, and, you know, and they just went in and worked off of hope that they would, and then most of them never found anything. Eventually the Brazilian government actually shut it down and cut it off from people because it was just a horrible work environment. But long story short, y'all, I feel like that is what 9-to-5s do to us. Like 9-to-5s, we go in with this some kind of dream or some kind of ambition or wish that, you know, we're gonna be financially successful or just financially abundant or financially free working these 9-to-5s, and that's just not how it is. Like, the ideal college student, like, it's just not that simple. It's not a straight path. Like, life, you know, as many of y'all probably know, life just throws a whole shit ton of curveballs at you. Like, you know, when everything's going perfectly and out of nowhere something just decides just to fuck your whole shit up. Like I said, you think that you're just going to end up going to school, going to college, and it's like a straight path, and you go and you get a job. And most college students that you can even talk to and interview today will tell you they could never find a job, and they're still living with their parents. They could never even find a job. And, you know, you think that a degree matters, but like, to most, that's the thing. Degrees nowadays don't even matter. Like, people are actually getting hired just because they have the experience or have the knowledge over a piece of paper. Like, and honestly, with the thing, and I read something else and I'm gonna let y'all go, but I read something that said that you study all these years to get a degree, and then when you get out, your degree is meaningless because, you know, whatever you were studying has changed. Like, the whole ideology and philosophy of it has changed. But long story short, y'all, you know, go after your own dreams, and it's gonna be tough, and there are gonna be times where you want to quit, but if it's what you want to do, you can't quit because your soul won't let you. Like, just keep on going, y'all, persevering no matter what, and I can assure you that you'll be just fine. But let me know if y'all like this kind of videos, and I will catch y'all on the next one. Tips and I 8 out.
Yamagini chain, rest in peace to my superior. Hermes link a feed a village in Liberia. TMZ taking pictures causing my hysteria.